Hello, everybody. Am I live? Let's see here. Comments. Is everybody seeing me? I don't know what happened with the intro there. Give me a thumbs up. Hey, yeah, we're good. Everybody good? Says I'm live. Hope everybody's seeing this. No comments from the peanut gallery yet. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Kevin. All right. Don't know what happened to the intro there. Things just went. Everything just went today. Today has been a day. So what we're going to look at today is, and I didn't bother recording any of this because this was a 2-day ordeal. I did an inlay, about 8 by 10 or so. And first thing I did was create a pocket. Then once I got the pocket created, then I actually used 4 different types of hardwood for this inlay. It's been one of my more advanced ones yet. It's not nearly as advanced as some of them I've seen out there. But I did the pocket, then I did 2 of the inlay pieces, glued those up, 24 hours for that to glue up and set up. Then I did the words, the text on it, and that was all day today. Then the sanding and the prepping and all that, and I haven't got it finished yet. I've got the inlays done. I've got everything smoothed and polished, but I need to add some detail to it, and that's what I'm going to use the print and cut feature for. And I'm going to use it in a way that was more in a way that it was intended and designed for. Using it for those long signs and the pass-throughs, you can use it that way, but that wasn't its original intent. So let's jump over here to LightBurn. Well, actually, not LightBurn first. Let me get my show you my inspirations, where this stuff come from. So there's a local ice cream parlor here. It's been around my entire life. They've been in business since 1915. But beyond just ice cream, they do a really good breakfast. And a lot of people, if you like hot dogs, they've got some pretty good hot dogs. They got good food. But I like their breakfast, and I go and eat there semi-regularly in the mornings for my breakfast. Get the best sweet tea. If you're a sweet tea drinker, I call it liquid crack. It's this stuff. It's brown sugar water. It might have a hint of a little bit of a tea flavor, but it's brown sugar water. But sitting in the restaurant the other day, I looked over hanging on the wall, and they had this great big about a 4-foot neon sign. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I bet I can do that in an inlay. I mean, that would be really cool. So I took a picture of it. And that's the neon sign. And I said, okay, that's kind of cool looking. And my thought process was, I would do the ice cream immediately. When I seen this, it was pink. I'm thinking strawberry ice cream. I said, I'll do that with my Paduke. So it's kind of got a red color to it. And then the yellow down here for the cone, I didn't know what I was going to use. I knew I needed to have something that was going to contrast with the main backboard, but I wanted it to stand out, but yet it needed to look kind of cone flavored. So that's why I went to West Penn Hardwoods the other day and had that kind of piss poor live, because I didn't realize how bad the reception was up there. But I went up there so I could go through their aisle and find the right color of wood for my cone. And because I'd already had the maple, I knew I found some really good maple, hard maple, that had very, very little grain in some of it. And I said, man, that's going to be perfect for the backboard. I found the perfect wood for the cone. I already had my Paduke picked out. And then for the words, I said, well, I'll go with a dark. So initially I was thinking a Peruvian walnut. And I said, and I got to looking at it, and I was, nah, not quite dark enough. And I had some Cadillacs here. or Catalogs. I don't know how you say it. Catalogs. So I went with that. So I've got, and what I ended up going with the cone was Osage orange. And there you go. Osage orange for the cone, the Paduke. In fact, I got them all right here. Paduke for the ice cream, and that's the Catalogs. And that was the, and then the maple. Those were the 4 hardwoods that I went with. So now let's see. I did take some photos though of work in progress. So I'm going to close this one. There we go. So here was the first pocket I did in the cutout in maple. And the pocket did something kind of funny on me. This side of the pocket right here, instead of it being cut straight in and straight down like this one was, it had about a 45-degree angle on it from the top inward. And it was just that 45-degree angle was from there on the cone to the bottom and right here on the side of the cone. And I attribute that to just being a characteristic of that hardwood. Had something to do with the way the grain ran on that. And whenever it burned away, it burnt down. But it, for whatever reason, the grain was harder, stiffer, whatever. And in that area, it glanced off and just kind of burnt down at a 45-degree angle, which made a little bit of fun with the fitment. I had, when I cut out my cone, I then had to take, and it's 3 millimeter Osage orange. I just took that edge that needed to be there and took sandpaper and just started sanding it down until it got to where it would fit in the pocket. And that calls for a little bit of a fitment issue on the cone, but with what I'm getting ready to do with print and cut, it's not going to matter. It's going to actually look pretty good. But so there's the ice cream, the cone, and all the letters all in the cutout for the pockets cut out. There's the first glue up. I don't have the letters in. Didn't show you. There we go. There's the first fitment. Nothing's been sanded or prepped yet. It's just test fitted yet. Wasn't even glued in yet. But I ran the grains of the Paduke horizontally and the grains of the Osage orange vertically. So you got that contrast. Plus, with what I'm getting ready to do live with you guys with the print and cut, it's going to accentuate these different pieces of the grain, and it's going to really hopefully make this look like a true scoop of ice cream. And then there it is. Nope, that's the wrong one. Went the wrong way. Nope, I don't have a picture of it with the catalogs. I don't know. But here it is, live and in person. So there, that was much darker than the walnut was going to be, and I liked that contrast. And overall, I'm really kind of happy with that. I like the way it went together. This is not as tight of a fitment as I'd like to have seen around the cone, but with the detail I'm getting ready to add, that's not going to make any difference. The Paduke didn't have that odd angle, and that's a really tight flush fit all the way around the ice cream and on the letters. Everything looked really good except that one area that caused the fitment issue. But what I'm going to do, let me pull that photograph back up. These areas in the cone, the cross hatches that show the texture of the cone, and these swirls that's for the ice cream scoop, I'm going to add that to this piece now. And I'm a little bit nervous because this is pretty much a finished piece, but it's missing that detail. So now I'm going to take this piece and put it back on the laser with you guys here and show you how I set up print and cut to go back in, and I'm actually just going to engrave those cross hatches on here and engrave the swirls around the ice cream. And hopefully that's going to look really good, and I'm going to be able to get everything lined up. But just in case, I'm already planning on whenever I get it all lined up and I get it framed and it looks like it's right, the first pass I'm going to make with it is going to be very low power, just enough to mark it and score it and see how things line up and see if it's where I want it to be. Because if it's not, I can always sand that back out. Then if it does look good, then I'll just increase my power and run another pass or two. But let's look over here at LightBurn and see what all I had to do to set this up. And then the other thing that I did for him is, this was 5mm, after I processed it, 5mm maple hardwood. I ended up doubling it up and putting the back on it so that it is a substantial piece. He said he just wanted to hang it on the wall. I'm going to put him a hanger up here. But on the back, I labeled what the different woods used were. The words were done with the Colombian catalogs. The ice creams, tropical West African Paduke. The cones from Argentine Osage orange, and it's inlaid in hard maple, which came from the Northeast here in the USA. So now let's jump over to LightBurn, close out these, and LightBurn. All right, so I had my initial ice cream. This is the photograph. Control D, I just duplicated it. I'm going to bring it over here for a second. So that's the actual photograph after I brought it into LightBurn and then traced it. And LightBurn did a really great job of tracing that out with that photograph. I did not have to do really any mods to it at all. But the problem is, let's see it right now, I think it's all grouped. Yep, let's ungroup it. If I grab that, that's the ice cream. And it's not attached to the cone. And I did not want to have that little bit of an area right there. That was going to be a problem whenever I went to try to put the different inlays into place. So what I ended up doing was using my node edit tools. I just drew a straight line, like from here to here. And the same thing over here. And then I went in and used the node editing tools to break all that apart and then join the outline of the ice cream and the outline of the cone and made one piece, and use that as this here. Oop, didn't want to draw a line. That's how I created the pocket for the entire piece. And then for the Tony's ice cream, and since 1915, I wanted to use a font that was kind of fat. So it had some meat on the letters, but you've got the obstacle of the apostrophe you've got to deal with and the dot over the I. Now, these other pieces, the insert for the E and the 9, you want those to fall away. But when you're cutting out these pieces in the laser bed, you don't want this little apostrophe or that dot to fall through into your waste. If you've taken the time to clean out your drop area, and I was talking to Russ today. Russ said he uses a pie tin. He'll throw it in there when he wants to catch something he wants to keep, so he doesn't have to sort through all that. If it's already cleaned out, you don't have to sort through it. But I go a step beyond that. Instead of having to go looking and digging for it, this is one of those rare times that I'll use tabs. Now, not slots and tabs like you're using for boxes and tea lights and that kind of thing. Tabs, when you're cutting out with the laser, you can insert a tab to permanently attach that piece to your main piece so it doesn't fully cut it out. It's just a little area, and you set the size of that tab. And depending on the thickness of the material I'm working with, how fragile is it? Does it cleave very easy? Does it break away? Am I using 3/8 stuff or 1/4 inch stuff? That will reflect how much how big my tabs are going to be. And I see 8mm Rabbit Mouser says he uses steel mesh under the workpiece. And, you know, lots of, like I say all the time, there's always more than one way. Always more than one way. And sometimes I'll show you multiple ways when I'm doing stuff. But in this case, I'm just showing you what I do with little pieces like this. And I'll go back over to LightBurn. So if you've never worked with tabs before, what I do is, in fact, when I cut this out, I actually copied that and then moved it up here. And these are my cutout pieces. I nested them kind of sort of close together so I could have as little waste as possible. And I was able to cut that all out of a 3-inch wide board. And I took, after I got everything into place, I selected it, all of it, and converted it to a path. Once I converted it to a path, then you can select individual letters. But as long as you're in text mode, like it is here, if I ungroup it all, still got to ungroup again, you're not able to select one letter. It's selecting that entire text. So Control D, duplicate that, and then I'm going to bring it up here. And then right click and convert to a path. Once you convert it to a path, you can select just the outside of that E if you want to. Or all of that E, or you can select, you know, individual letters. But what I'll do is once I've converted it to a path, I take that apostrophe and this tool right here, hover over it and wait. That's your add tabs. It's just below your node editing and just above, or yeah, just above your text tool. But that's your add tabs tool. So I will click on it to add tabs. Now it's selected and it shows it's red with the little dots around it. And my apostrophe has got the ants running around it. What I'll do, and typically when you add tabs, you want them to be easy to break away. But depending on what size if you're doing like a 12 by 12, like we used to do the flat packs where maybe it was 3 pieces of 12 by 12 that would have a bunch of pieces in it. Well, you would assign tabs to the pieces so they didn't fall out, and you could mail them and they'd all arrive intact. But you want to make sure you position them so that they're easy enough to break away. Well, since this is just the one little apostrophe, and this Catalogs, it's really dense, super dense wood. I did not have to use a very large tab at all, and it only needed one. And the way you set that up is once you've selected the tab tool, and this point right here was probably going to be the most fragile area and the easiest place for it to want to break away. So I just got my plus mark right there and then click add a tab, and that shows you one little dot right there. Then go back to your select tool or your selector tool. And with that selected, and right now it's on the black layer, go to your black layer and look. And now that you've added a tab, this tab and bridges is now automatically turned on. Once you add a tab, it will turn this feature on. And then you can set your tab size. And since I'm working in millimeters, it shows that's going to be a 0.5 millimeter tab. Well, I didn't need a full 0.5 millimeter. I just did a 0.3 millimeter tab and said, okay. Then it cut that apostrophe out until it got right there and stopped, and it left 0.3 of a millimeter. And so when I picked my waste material, it wasn't really waste. Once I picked this up off of the bed, all of my letters were laying on the bed, but the apostrophe was still stuck in here. So I picked this up and then took a pencil and just put a little pressure on it, popped right out. So I didn't have to go looking for that in my waste area. And I did the same thing for my apostrophe that I did for the letter I in cents. I put one little tab on the letter I and kept that circle in place for it. All right. So that's adding tabs. and how I created the pocket. I don't need that anymore. So we're going to delete that. All right. So I've created the outline for my pocket. I've created the the font. I just put it in line. No, I'm sorry. When I did the pocket, is actually in fill mode. So that was all filled and burn away and left about around an eighth, a little bit over an eighth of an inch pocket was left after engraving that. So that was done in fill mode and then cut out the overall shape. Then once that was done, I took that off the work bed and set it to the side. And then I needed my snow cone and my ice cream. Well, the ice cream, I just need that outer piece there because all the detail, all of this is stuff I'm going to end up engraving. So with that ungrouped, grabbing just that, it's like, okay, well, that's not quite going to work because if I say Control D, duplicate it, and then move that over here, it's kind of funky stuff going on there. So I had to go back into my node editing again, once again, and just like I edited the node, create this whole solid piece here, I went into node editing, added those two lines again to connect there and there on the cone, and same thing over here, and then broke those lines apart. And I'm telling you a lot, and some of you probably already follow and understand what I did, but I've got a feeling that some of you might want to see it. So I'm just going to real quick draw a line from there to there and draw a line from there to there. Then I went into node editing. Zoomed into those lines, and I added a node right here by hitting the letter I for insert, and come over here, select that one and hit the letter I. And now I took and come back over here and hit the letter B for break and took that out of the way. This one I also need to break. So letter B for break, and took that one down here out of the way. And over here, letter I for insert, and I can go ahead and do IB. Insert and break. And come up here. I need the red, there we go. And that's actually already got one there, so I can just hit the letter B for break. And now that's actually the one I want to keep. This one, drag that over out of the way and put that one back where it needs to be. And come down here. That's the one that needs to go away. So I can actually just go ahead and select a few of those and then hit the letter D for delete. I got rid of that. Actually, you know what? That's a fib. I needed to keep those. Undo. This is the one I need to go away. And then this one, connect. I'm on. Connect to there. And fix that screw up. All right. So all of that can now go bye-bye. And all of these. And I need to go to my selector tool. All right. Now I haven't joined these together. That would go on the red path. Red path. Go back to node editing. Snap it together. Snap it together. And I can get rid of this. So that's how I created the cutout for the ice cream. Put that on my Paduke and cut that out. The cone was really, really simple because all I had to do is just select that outer piece there Control D, duplicate it, and bring it over and cut out that in my Osage orange. So that was easy enough to do. But now I'm going to go back and add the detail to the cone and to the ice cream. And we're going to do that now with you guys. And what I did is I went in here. This is the original snow cone, or the original snow cone, ice cream cone here. And since this didn't have the really, really tight fit like I wished it did, but it ain't going to matter because what I'm getting ready to do, it's got the dark black outline around there. I'm hoping to be able to get the print and cut set up just right so that now when I come in here and engrave that offset of the cone and the crosshatches going on the cone, that those black engraved lines are only just going to accentuate the outline of the cone on the perimeter, and it's all going to look really, really good. And then the swirls and the ice cream, I hope, are going to look really good. So if I got any questions up until this point, any questions, anybody got any questions? Just tell everybody thank you for being here. Yeah, and Carl, I am feeling a whole lot better. I'm still really weak. I cut the grass yesterday. I had to do it at about 25% speed. I didn't have the stamina and just to go in and get the grass cut, get it done. It hurt me. But let's see here. What's that? Carl says, I can see some engraving to emphasize the piece. Yep, that's what we're going to do with the print and cut. And Brandon, no, I can see it kind of could be chocolate, but I'm hoping that's, and another thing I'm going to do is if all goes well and the print and cut works like it's designed to, and I use it correctly and get a nice engraving here, I'll do a quick little intermission and apply the first coat of the Rust-Oleum triple thick glaze and then come right back. It'll still be wet, but I'll show you that. And hopefully once I put this triple thick glaze on there, instead of looking chocolatey, it's going to look red. Paduke is actually got some red hue to it. So I'm really hoping that pops it. Chicago Bob says the swirls spell out Tony's. I don't see that. I do now. Ha! Check this out. Good eye. So there's the letter T. There's an O, the letter N. There's a Y, and the letter S. Ha! I've looked at that sign for decades and never seen that. Wow. That's cool. I don't know that my outcome will show that, but we'll see. That may be a detail that's lost in the way I've had to set up the engraving, but what a good eye. Yep, sure does. Nope, I did not know. Catching up here. That's good. Seeing lots of ones and twos and people there. We got a 3. John learned a couple of things tonight. Yeah, guys, hit the like button, hit the share button. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. And Sharon says, great eyes, Bob. It really, really was great. And then what I'm going to try and do with the print and cut is this is going to be a first for me. I've got that camera set up so that you can see me positioning the laser in with the control features of LightBurn. And then I'm going to try, if I can figure it out, I'm going to try to have that in a picture-in-picture with LightBurn, so you can see what I'm doing in LightBurn and how the laser's moving in correlation with all that. But the plan is this will go physically on the laser bed, obviously, but I'm going to look for probably you can only do 2 points, and this is actually a really good a chance to demonstrate exactly how that features the print and cut feature is supposed to work. And doing those big signs, I was making sure everything was perfectly squared up in the light in the work area and maintained the squareness as I fed it through. But you're not supposed to have to do that with print and cut. The way that it's supposed to work is if this is just placed on the bed in the work area, and it went on the bed in the work area like that, but it's square in LightBurn. If if I move the laser with the controls to the very point of that apostrophe and say, okay, LightBurn, this is where the point in the apostrophe is at physically on the work area. And then I move the laser to this corner of the ice cream cone and tell LightBurn, okay, this is where that corner, that design is at physically on my laser bed. LightBurn is supposed to take those 2 points of registration and figure out that it's not laying square on the work bed, and then compensate in its internal little brain where everything is oriented, and then send that outcome to the laser or to the work bed where it needs to be. And we're going to cross our fingers that everything works and I get a really good result, because this was a lot of work and I don't want to screw it up, but I am going to do a very light engraving to begin with. So if it does go, I can sand it away. Let's see here. Maybe engrave some shadow on the ice cream to slightly highlight. It says Tony's. The Tony's aspect of it might still be visible once with the way I've got this laid out. I don't know. And as far as the shadowing goes, Chris, with this Paduke, there's all those different grains and different hues that are going on already. I don't want to take away too much from the grain of the wood, and I'm hoping beyond hope, and it looks like it actually might work out pretty good with the way I've got this laid out, that these swirls that are in the grain are going to kind of coincide with the way that I've got those lines laid out. We hope. The cone should be simple. Should be. All right. So let's quit dilly-dallying. Let's get this over to the laser, and we'll start getting stuff laid out here. All right. So I'm going to turn some fans on, turn the laser on. Welcome, B. Oh, my. About all down. Fan on. Okay, she's on the laser bed. The laser is focused. Let's go over here to LightBurn. That's not LightBurn. All right, so let's get all this out the way, and this is the piece that I'm going to do. Now, originally, my thought was I'm going to cut out those cross hatches in the ice cream cone. I was going to cut them out as complete voids, and where I had the grain running vertically in the cone, and then cut those out, then go back and slightly askew twist up the Osage orange and cut those out again with the grain running in a different direction, and inlay the Osage orange inside the Osage orange so that you'd have the cut line showing and then the different grains showing, and that was going to add some character to the cone. But this stuff I've been working with, the Osage orange, I don't know if I don't know if it's Catalox, like a meow cat, or Catalox. I don't know, but it's Katalox. That stuff super, super dense. And this Osage orange, when I went to cut this out, I'm almost positive it was like 12 passes or more. And I was doing really high speed stuff, because if I slowed it down, it just wanted to burn. So I had to go really fast in like 12 or 14 passes. But even doing that, because this wood holds the heat like nobody's business. When I cut that pocket out and picked it up off the laser, it was extremely warm to the touch. The whole thing was. It absorbed the heat from the laser. So in my initial attempt to cut out those cross hatches, they were only about 2 millimeters or so thick. That's what happened. Instead of cutting out, it was just burning away. There's the flip side. It didn't cut all the way through, but it was holding the heat from that laser, from those cuts. And with the Rolly Lasermatic MK2, the laser module fan is running all the time. Even if you cut the air assist off, the fan and the module is still running. But with the air assist and the fan from the module blowing through there with that radiant heat, it finally wanted to ignite. It was just smoldering. I never had a flame, but it just smoldered away. And I was like, okay, grab it, take it out of the laser. So that whole idea didn't work. So I had to back up and punt. And that's when I come up with the idea, well, I'll just engrave it and see what that looks like, because cutting it out was not an option. All right. Yes, Carl, that's with the 30 watt, and all of the cuts were done with the 30 watt. Let's see. Yes, I'm pretty sure. And on top of that, today, just before going live, I went to Home Depot to pick up my triple thick, put my phone in my back pocket after opening the locker at Home Depot, and I heard crack, crack. Like, what in the world? Hole in my pocket ripped open, and the phone hit the concrete and shattered the whole glass. And I tried to use this a minute ago, and it wouldn't even open. But this Saturday is 9 p.m., Carl. 9 p.m. this Saturday. And Larry, I was using the 30 watt MK2. Yes, 30 watt. All my cuts on 30 watt. And when I get ready to do this engraving, I'll be using the 30 watt as well. I'll be using low power initially, but this wood is so dense that I don't know that it would do much with the 10 watt, except at higher powers. All right, so talk. Let's see here. We go to here, switch that out, and then picture in picture. Nope. There and there. Nope. Picture in picture. Nope. That one and well, yeah, I hate to dropping my, but I went 3 years on this one and not had without a case, and I hadn't had a problem. And I wouldn't have had a problem except for the hole ripping open in my pocket. All right, picture in picture ain't doing what I want it to do. That's main. I want that one, and I want picture in picture. And I want 4. There we go. I don't know if it's going to let me resize it or not, but you're not going to need to see that. We're going to see what this looks like. Switch this out. There we go. So now you got a picture in picture with the there we go. All right. So this is what I'm wanting to engrave, but I need to have this whole thing on here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make sure that, okay, that's all grouped together. Select my entire image, make sure that's all grouped together. Send it to the center of the work area. And then I'm going to center my ice cream highlights. I need to ungroup all of this. Then select my engraving and select the ice cream thingy and tell it to go to center. Nope, not center. Center don't work. So I'm going to physically put this where I think it needs to be. About like that. All right, so now that I've got all of that together, I'll group all of that. And I'm going to now use print and cut. And I think I will use, I'm looking for points, sharp points. I've got the point on the apostrophe, and I'll probably use that point right there. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is use my move function. Let's update the actually, you know what? I bet it won't let me. We'll see. See if I can update the camera on the work bed. Camera control. On HDR. Yep, there we go. All right. So let's move the laser out of the way. Now I'm going to update my work area. And you can see I'm not even going to bother trying to move this. I'm not going to move my artwork to where that is physically at. I'm going to leave that askew just like it is. But what I'm going to do is use my move controls. There they are. To move the laser until it's right over the point of that apostrophe right there. And whenever I assign this position with this artwork to this physical location with the laser, and do it one more time over here, then it should take all of that artwork and move it where it needs to be within the brains of the computer and the software of LightBurn. And just looking at the comments, yeah, Steve, there is some Osage orange in and around the eastern part of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, some. But this is Argentinian. This is Central America. There is a different species between what we have here in North America and what's in Central America. And this is the imported. All right. So I'm going to now use my laser controls. And what I'm going to do, you can't see it because the picture in picture is in the way, but I'm going to change my move, my arrow movement to 25 millimeters for right now, so I can use my arrows, and I can actually use. Someone asked me the other day about just using the drop pin, the location. So I'm going to drop the arrow or drop the pin on the apostrophe, and now the laser's moving into where it's in close proximity. And now I'm going to use my move feature to make sure, and I don't know if this will show up with you guys because we're looking through the protective glass here, but I've turned my laser fire on. I'm now moving in 1 millimeter increments, and I've got my laser physically turned sideways, so I have to think about this. I need to come down. And that's really close. So now I'm going to change my move increments to 0.5 millimeter. And that's perfect. So now that I've physically moved the laser into position, the laser's up here, I'm going to draw a little bitty circle and put it right in the corner there of the apostrophe. And now I'm going to I'm going to select that circle, go to Laser Tools, Print and Cut, Set First Target Position. And that turned that a bright or a solid red. So that's the first target position. So now I'm going to move the laser down here to that corner where the ice cream meets the cone. So that's a pretty good way. So I'm going to use my set position laser to drop a pin. I'm going to drop a pin looking at the camera. And the physical placement, it's right around here. So I'm moving the laser down, and that's real close because my camera is pretty accurate, but not perfect because I didn't go through all the trouble of all the elaborate calibrations because I don't depend on my camera that way. But now that I've got that close, I'll change my movement to 1 millimeter. And now I'm going to move that laser down and over, change it to 0.5 millimeter movement, down and over. And that just, once that got close, the laser dot, I could see the laser fire on the surface. And as soon as I got to that corner, it's like it turned off, but it didn't. It dropped down into that void where that V's at. So I know I'm pretty darn close. So now with that laser in position there, I'm actually going to come up here. I'm going to draw another circle. Put it right there in that V, right in that spot. And with that selected, go back to Laser Tools, Print and Cut, Set Second Target Position. And when I do, that will turn blue. So there's my first 2 target positions. Now go right back into Laser Tools, Print and Cut, align output to targets with no scaling. And now you've got a light blue circle around the dark blue circle. And you've got this message down here in the bottom corner that says Enabled Modes, Print and Cut. So this is supposed to work. I should be able to just set my power and speed settings, hit the start button, and it engrave exactly what I want, exactly where it needs to be. But I don't know. So, and now actually, to keep things simple, I'm going to get rid of the stuff on the work area right now that I'm not wanting to engrave. So it's just cleaner for me. We'll turn off the picture in picture, I hope. Nope, there we go. And swap. Well, now I got the picture in picture in my main. Turn that off. I don't know what I've done. We'll figure it out together in a minute. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is just clean this up so I don't confuse myself any. Well, I can't get rid of the asterisk because, or the apostrophe, because that's one of my print and cut. No, I can't get rid of it because I'm using those as my set points. So now I just need to hold my shift button and select the pieces I'm wanting to engrave and ungroup it. I want all of that. Oh, okay. Because it's grouped, that's what I want. All right. So I'm going to, now this was Osage orange. You know what? Where's the switch? There we go. I'm going to frame it once and see what that looks like. Laser frame. It's hard to tell. Let's try doing this. We're going to ungroup all of that. And I'm going to get just, I didn't want to move it, undo. Just these pieces of the cone. Now I'm going to frame that. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. The bottom part of the cone looks really good. Let's move you. Well, and then my big head's going to be in the way. So when it goes across the bottom right there, it looks really good. But it's because of that stupid rubber band frame. All I can do really is kind of roll the dice. I'm going to ungroup this some more and just do one piece of that cone. Because I really don't know what to expect here. I know what to expect, but I don't know if it's going to do what it's supposed to do when it does what it does. And being that, well, I've got the laser fire button on, Chris, but because, and when it runs across this bottom line right here on the cone, it looks really good. But because it's wide up to here, wire frame, a rubber band frame, it doesn't follow it perfect. It comes, so to go all the way out to here and then gradually comes down to here. So I don't know where it is on alignment wise up here. So what I'm going to do is ungroup that, and I'm just going to do this one top piece right here and see what that looks like. So I'm going to do, I didn't save my settings for the Osage orange. we're just going to do the hardwood, maple, and we're going to do a light 30 watt. No, yep, 30 watt light and a sign. And I don't want field. I want line. There we go. So that's 23,000 line or millimeters a second and 100% power. But let's frame that little piece and see what it looks like. Laser, frame. I think it's going to be perfect. I think it's going to do exactly what print and cut is supposed to do. And I really should just have faith in the software. But I got so much time invested in this that I'm going light. So here we go. I'm going to send this to the job. Yeah, Mark. This even here at this high rate of speed, even at 100% power, it should be very, very light engraving. And I've been sanding so much in here, I can't even see out my glasses. That's better. No, it ain't. I need my glasses under my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, that's good. All right, now, everybody got your fingers crossed? I need everybody to have your fingers crossed. And we are going to hit start. Actually, we're going to turn that on, and now we're going to hit start. Oh, gosh. Yeehaw! I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, now the question is, how many passes do I need to do with that? I'm going to do 2 more passes at that power and see what we get. So 2 passes, start. Nah. I think that'll work. So now I just need to select the lower part, and I'm going to make my pass count 3 passes. So that's giving me my top rectangle. Now I'm going to do the bottom and the cross hatches, because I know that's going to work with these speeds and powers on this Osage orange. So now we'll just say, send that to the laser, start. And the beauty of this is, if it is just a little bit dark, I can sand just a little bit and probably lighten it up a little bit. But I think this is going to look really good. And adding these accents are what's going to make this piece really pop. It looked good, but it needed something in that comb for sure. With all of the stuff going on with the grains of the Paduke, it doesn't absolutely have to have these accents in the ice cream, but we're going to give it to them and see what we can see, how much of the Tony's still looks like it's there. We'll see. All right, so selecting all of those pieces, I'm going to lower my count back to 1 because I'm not sure how this Paduke is going to do in the way that the Osage Orange done. So we got that selected, and Yeah. I'm on the fence about the way I got this designed right now, because the original design up here, like Bob noticed, this is an S and this is a Y. Well, it used the outside piece to form the outer part of the Y and the part of the S. Well, that's the cut line. And because I wasn't sure if I was going to get a exact placement, these are attached up here. I drew a line in here and broke that apart, broke it up over here to create individual pieces that are not attached to that outer piece. And I'm on the fence right now. Do I want to do it like you see, or do I need to get rid of those two right there? If I delete that, what do y'all think? Like that or like that? That's amended, and that's original. Well, John, trying to match the original would require being exactly on that outside line, and I don't know. I'm close, but I don't think I'm original. But Bob's World saying delete it. So do it like this. Try it without them. You can add them later if needed. All right. That sounds like the master plan, because you're right. I can add it back in if it don't look right. So we will select those like that. See, we got a mixed vote going on there. But Valerie, like Chris pointed out, I'll try it like this, and if it needs it, I can go back and add them back in. All right. So now let's go send this to the laser. Ding, ding, ding. One pass. Start. Bob, Chicago Bob, now that you've pointed out that says Tony's, it needs that. Like Tim says, the artwork doesn't spell Tony's anymore. You're right. And this is so close. This print and cut feature is so close to being exact, which it's supposed to be. I'm curious what would happen if I do it with the exact original artwork. So I've got all that together, and I'm going to group it. And I'm going to move that over here for right now. Not moving my piece. So all that's still the same. Over here's the original comb. Didn't get it all. Get all of that. Group it. And I'm going to bring it down here. And put it into position by grabbing this corner and put it right there. Okay. All right. Chicago Bob, this is on you, brother. This is on you because you pointed that out and made it so obvious and so glaring I was happy with it just being some squirrels in an ice cream scoop. But now that I see it says Tony's, it needs to be that. I'll never not see it now. All right. We're going to cross our fingers here. So what I've done is I've brought the original work, the original swirls that I had over here, and dropped them right over that. And I need to put that on the black layer. And send it to the laser and see what we get. All right, we're gonna we're gonna roll the dice. Are y'all nervous? I am. Okay. I can't watch. Nope, wrong button. That's right. That's incredible. That is incredible. I knew the functionality of print and cut. I knew how it worked, knew how it's supposed to work. I haven't done it. Not in this type of application. I've done it to do those signs, but I've never done it for what we're doing here. This is perfect, folks. Perfect. It needs to have another couple of passes. In fact, I'm going to do them one at a time. Start. Another way you can use the print and cut feature is if you've done a job and then you picked it up and you're taking it over here and you're like, oh no, I forgot to do this. Well, you can take that job and lay it right back on the printer with a laser and do this exact same thing and then send what you forgot to that project, because guys, when I say it's close, it ain't close. It's perfect. And I'm going to do it one more time. Only because it says Tony's. If it didn't say Tony's, if it was just those squirrels, the swirls, I'd have left it alone. But I'm going to do it one more time so it's really good and dark, and then put the I'll do a little quick little intermission for you. So if you guys need to stop and go run and take a potty break or whatever, I'll play my What About Steve song or something. And go put a quick coat of triple thick on here, because I'm anxious to see what it's going to look like. But I'm going to do one more pass. Don't want to get greedy, but I want that Tony's to pop. Start. And guys, I'm using the Rolly Lasermatic, and I'm doing it in the 30-watt mode. And you're seeing this in real time, folks. You're seeing what I started with, and there was nothing on there. And you're seeing me send this and making these drastic decisions right now. And now let's get this off so you can see the outcome. Switch. No, there we go. Yep. I got my cross hatches in the ice cream. I got Tony's in the ice cream. That print and cut feature is the bomb diggity. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Carl says, was it an outline or a feel? I did all that in line mode. All that's in line mode. All right. I'm going to do, I don't need to do any sanding because I've already sanded everything and this looks good. The contrast is good. Like I said, if you need a little pee-pee break, a little potty break, if you don't, just hang around and enjoy the song. You know, be warned for you guys that are out there. I think the word hell is in the song. So if you're offended by the word hell, mute it and wait for the song to go off. But I like the song. I think it's funny. And it's all about my friend Steve Whitney. So I like the girls. I like the song. I like the group. Brand intermission. All right. So the intermission's a minute 50. Where's my sandpaper? I want to check this mark on here. I don't think that's supposed to be on there. All right. Enjoy the music, and I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Candlelight and moonlight all around us. I look into your eyes. You hold my hand underneath the table, and I can't disguise the way I feel. I could have wished 1,000 wishes for this night. I can't believe that it's finally me and you and you and me, just us and your friend Steve. Do 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 Steve. Do 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 leave. What's the deal with your friend Steve? Oh hey, how's it going? You took me out for waffles and to the movies. I was hoping for romance. You even took me to the Mexican circus. I thought there was a chance we'd be alone. I could have wished 1,000 wishes for Steve to disappear. Why is he always here? Do 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 Steve. Do 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 do. Go away. What's the deal with your friend Steve? Oh hey, how's it going? It's not that I don't like your friend, but how many hours with him can you spend? And it's not that I don't think he's great, but it's only you, only you I wanna fillet. Are you gay for Steve? I think you may be, and that would be alright. But let a bitch know just what your steez is, so I know if I should shave tonight. I could have wished 1,000 wishes, 'cause I like to be with you. But if it's always me and you and your friend Steve, there's nothing I can do 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 Steve. Do 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 do. Why don't you just go be with your best friend Steve?
Okay, it's wet, but it pops. And this will be what would probably be the first coat of probably 3 or 4 of the Rust-Oleum triple thick glaze. This I'll let dry overnight. Come back tomorrow, light sand it, apply a second coat, sand a third coat, then possibly a fourth coat. Got to do front and back. But looking for the sheen, the shine. There we go. It's like glass. And it almost does, in person, it looks redder than it does on the camera. On the camera, it does come across as a little bit brown. but it still looks good. Still looks really good. Let's see here. Bob's World says, I'm going on vacation May 15th. I'll be ordering my laser maker or the LM2 when I get back using the Hobo link. Yay! Yes, thank you. Banners. Where is that? There we go. If you do not have your Rolly Lasermatic yet and you're going to just say, the heck with it, I want it now, use hobowithwood.com/Rolly, and that'll let Leo know that I helped inspire you to make that purchase, and he'll say thank you. And that also helps with, like, he's giving me one to give away. So the more input that he sees that, hey, I'm influencing folks, I'm helping, it helps my cause. So yeah, let's see, turn that banner off, stupid. There we go. Comments. You should post a credit for the song in the more comments area. I paid for it. I use it, and I paid for it. I bought that through YouTube. So since I've got the paid licenses, it's all in YouTube. So, and I'm actually, I think every time I use it, I share my revenue from this stream. So the girls will get some of the revenue from this live stream. So I'm paying to use that song because I like it that much. I remember when I was a kid in England, Saturday morning movies, there was an intermission where someone could walk around with ice cream and soda. Yeah. I remember the movies, like drive-in movies especially, they have an intermission. You run to the bathroom. I see ice cream, but no soda, just moonshine. Yeah, well, there's still the same levels of moonshine that have been there since pretty much the beginning. And Nipa, yeah, this is awesome. Now, that's crazy. Ooh, wow, that's really crazy. Padauk can be really funny. When you sand Padauk, that it's such a fine dust, it will get embedded into the other layers and stain the other woods around it. And what I got going on right now is this bleeding. And that's not cool. The oils from the Padauk, once it was sprayed with the triple thick glaze, there's two areas where the oils are bleeding off. Hopefully I can sand that out. The Osage orange is not bleeding, but the Padauk is bleeding. On the, let's see here, switch, switch. Nope, switch. Right here where the ice cream dips down. Come on, get the right camera, stupid. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you can see it just barely there. There's a little bit of bleed. There you go. First time I run into that. I've used my Padauk in a lot of things, but I've never seen it run like that. But I'm so happy with the overall outcome of it that even if that doesn't sand away completely, I'll be happy. Bob's Word, I have the Longer Ray 5 watt, which I'm giving away to someone that cannot afford one. I will replace it with the LM2. Well, I tell you what, when you go from the 5 watt to the LM2, you're going to be happier than a pig in slop, because you're going from an economy vehicle that does the job, it just takes you a little while to get there, to a Ferrari. This thing is wicked. So, yeah, Chicago Bob says he's got the LM1 and he's waiting for the 3. I'm guessing you're looking at the extended version or the big one. I'm anxious to get that one too. I'm hoping to purchase one of the first batches that comes out with that. Robert says 83 watching, but only 54 thumbs up. Well, yeah, y'all put that thumbs up, because I tell you what, I'm excited about this video and the outcome and how perfect that print and cut worked. And it worked. I was nervous. I was nervous, and more nervous than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, but it worked. And I knew I could sand it out if it didn't, but I just didn't want to go, and I just wanted it to work. I wanted it to work, and it did. Who are the girls that sing that song? What's it? Art, not Garfunkel, something. It's the girls. They were on Big Bang Theory as well, and I'll tell you here in a second. My brain just went. Yeah, Garfunkel and Oates. I knew it was Garfunkel. I couldn't remember the Oates. It's like Simon and Oates, Garfunkel and Oates. Garfunkel and Oates. And let's see here. Yeah, Tim got it. Garfunkel and Oates. Switch over. Switch here and here. And I've still got that stupid picture-in-picture going on. I had to figure out how to get rid of it. What is that? That's this one. No, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But if you see them right there on the side there, that's Garfunkel and Oates. They were in Big Bang Theory. Switch. Where's my switch button? And now I got a picture and a picture and a picture. There we go. Got rid of one of them anyway. All right. Let's see, need really good dust extraction when sanding the results. I did everything I could, Chris, to try and get that all out. Blew it off, brushed it off, blew it off. And he says, that bleeding is just the ice cream melting. You know, where it's at, it could work. Peggy says, that's gorgeous. I guess when working with Paduke, you need to do a light spray before gluing together. I learned a lot with this one. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad, and thank you for hanging out. I think you were right here from the very beginning. Okay, so 73 of you still watching. All right, are there any questions about what we did tonight, about any of the features? Let me turn this off. Turn that off. I'm going to turn this fan off, too. About any of the print and cut features, or any of the way any questions about what we did, what I did, how we got there. All right. Well, I want to cover a few things. As I've told you in the past, I'm extremely grateful for my patrons. My patrons are what keep me afloat. Without my patrons, I could not continue to do what I'm doing. So I'm extremely grateful for them. And unfortunately, and I knew it was going to happen, and I figured if it happened once or twice, it's not that big of a deal. But I don't know if people have figured it out and now they're spreading it and people are just taking advantage of it big time. But in this April, just in the last 20 some odd days, well, it actually started in March. I've had nearly a dozen, just under a dozen people who have signed up to be a gold patron, signed up, paid their $20, they're a gold patron, and I issued the coupon code for them to have 100% off on all of my digital files. Then they go over to hobowithwood.com and they download over $500 worth of digital files and then suspend or stop their support. So for $20, they get all of my digital files. So from this point on, I'm not going to be issuing a coupon code immediately after someone signs up. Initially, I didn't do it. Initially, I had a 90-day waiting period. But there wasn't that many files out there to begin with. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But now I've got pushing 2 years worth of files available that jerks are signing up and taking advantage of the way that the system has been working. And I don't want to call anybody out by name. Let's see here. Done. And now okay, I see that's what's going on. No. All right. Well, I'm still got this stupid picture on this screen. I can't get rid of it. But if I swap over here, you can see me. This person signed up on March the 1st. They canceled by mid-March. And his second order, if I scroll down here, just his second order alone, he downloaded $445 worth of files on his second order. If you are using hobowithwood.com, there's no reason that you're going to jump in there and download $400 worth of files, because you can't make $400 worth of files in an entire month. It takes you forever to make these files. So when I see somebody doing that, it's an immediate red flag that they're probably going to do something, underhanded. And usually they do. And Bob, I'm not, thank you first and foremost. Thank you. Thank you for bringing Tony's to my attention tonight. And thank you for this. That was totally unnecessary. You are a huge support, as you are. You're almost always here, and you are a supporter of the channel, and I greatly appreciate you. And thank you big time for that. But unfortunately, because of jerks like the name that I won't call out, and the thing is they have exit surveys, and they'll put in there, financial situation changed. BS. You had, and he didn't do 1 or 2 orders. He did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 separate orders in 16 days to make sure he got every single file that I had, and then canceled his support. And he ain't the only one. Like I said, it's been nearly a dozen just in the past 30, 40 days. So I'm going to suspend the issuance of the coupons upon signing up, unless you sign up as an annual, because there is that option. If you want to be a gold patron and you're going to do $20 a month, you can sign up and just pay $240. There's your annual. You're done. You're paid for the year. If you do that, then I'll issue your coupon immediately. But short of that, there's going to be a grace period, because I've had too many now, and like I said, it's happening so frequently. It happened before once or twice, but now it's like bam, 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 bam. It's like people are sharing this idea in their groups, or it's like, hey man, do this, and so I'm getting flooded with this, and so I'm just going to nip it, like Barney Fife said. I'm gonna nip it in the bud. No, Carl, they're not sharing passwords. And I actually pay attention to that too, because everybody's password is unique. And if I see the same password, because if they log in with the same username and password, I won't be able to tell it's different people. But if I see that person's logging in, that name, user, password is logging in, and they're downloading the same file 16 different times, then that's not the same person. and then I will address that. But I've not seen that. I've not seen people sharing passwords because they haven't had to. They'll sign up and spend $20 and get $500 worth of stuff. And I'm sure some password sharing might go on a limited basis, but I haven't seen it in like this en masse. Chris says, I can see them using loopholes, but it sucks for those doing the right thing. I maybe put a monthly limit. Yeah, my hands are tied on so many things that I cannot do in Patreon. And I looked at trying to do, a cap with the coupon to where it's like, okay, well, you're 100% off, but you can, I don't want to say, well, you can only download $20 at a month at a time, but I can't do both. I can either give you a cap on how much you can download in a month, or I can give you a total percentage. It's weird. There's limitations even with the way that works. But for the most part, people have been fair and they've been honest. And, I've never do not use my files for anything except for personal use. I've never said that. I encourage you to take my designs and my files that you have access to, make 100,000 of them and sell every one of them for $10 a piece. And then go, you know what? Hobo helped me do that. I'm going to send him $1 for every one that I did. I encourage you, make as many as you can, sell as many as you can. And if you get fat and rich off of it, then just say, hey, Hobo, here's a little something, something. I don't license or restrict the use of any of my stuff. I encourage you to take it and go have fun with it. Morph it, make it your own, or use it as is and just go sell it. But this is just dirty, what they've been doing for the past month or so. And yeah, she said, they should be ashamed. Some people have no class. Karma will get, I used to think that. I used to think karma will get them, but no, it typically don't. It typically don't. And yeah, Carl, that's what I said. I'm going to especially on gold members that new and upcoming gold. If you're not a gold member now and you want to sign up and be gold, I encourage you to do so, because that is the best deal going. You won't be able to buy the same quality of files on Etsy for less than $20 a month in the quality that I'm putting out there. But if you sign up after today, unless you sign up as an annual subscriber, you're going to have to wait probably, I don't know. I don't know if 90 days or 6 months. That I haven't figured out yet. But on the bronze and silver, since they're only getting half off and 60% off, that'll probably be just a 90-day grace period. I don't know. We'll see. I may even just I don't know. I gotta think about it. It takes all kinds. Just don't understand some people. It's a shame. It is a shame that you have to do that. And they can't get a refund if they pay annual. I don't think so. And especially if they pay annually, pay $240 and get their coupon code, download all $500 worth, and then want to cancel their membership, I think I would have grounds to file a grievance through Patreon about that. But somebody who signs up, and I should have a grounds for a grievance against this. Like I said, I don't want to call him by name, but his initials are John. I don't want to call him out, but and not John Thompson, because John's a bunch of lowlifes doing things like that. John just happens to share the same first name, so that's not the same John. This one's last initial is Caleb's. So anyway, I don't want to do that, Chris. I don't know if I can do it, but I don't really want to do that. But and because truthfully, Chris, there's over $500 worth of files there, but all of those don't appeal to everybody. Some folks don't want to have anything to do with my Amazing Grace crosses. And some folks, that's all they want are the cross files. So all of the different things that I've got out there appeal to different folks. That's why it's such a big red flag when they just go in and just download everything. No one, what I do doesn't appeal to all of what I do doesn't appeal to everybody, or and for those who that say, okay, well, I love those cross files. I don't want to say, okay, well, you can only do 2 a month. I want to support my supporters, but I also want to smack them in the head for people that do stuff like this. Well, Chicago Bob, any changes that I make going forward are not going to affect you, because you're grandfathered in. Anybody who's already in now will not be affected by any of the changes going forward. Yeah, that was the other thing, Valerie. Valerie says, warning, keep an eye out, make sure they're not actually selling my files and patterns. And that's also going to happen. I'm not going to be able to stop it and prevent it. I've had a few people who have emailed me and said, hey, I think I seen your design over here. And I went and looked at it and it was close, but it wasn't, because I teach you how to do these files. I will like the the caddy, the little spinning caddy that I did. I actually showed you how to set up the artwork and showed you step by step how to create this. You can do it from watching the video from scratch, do it yourself. You don't need to buy my file. So someone could go in LightBurn and watch my video and duplicate this exact same file and then turn around and sell it. And, I would be able to tell there would be some little thing about it that wouldn't quite be my touch or the way that I would have put it together. But they can put a close enough copy out there and sell it, and there's not really nothing I can do about it. But I teach you how to make them. I want you to know how to do these things. And then if you just say, okay, well, now I know how to do it, but I don't want to spend the 30 minutes putting it together, I'll just go over there and download it and be done with it. Then great. But then you know how to take those things and build your own. Let's see here. I bought your ADHD file, sold 5 last weekend. Hey, that's great. That's great. I love to hear stuff like that. Go sell 5,000 of them and then send me a little something, something. You may lose a lot of people who can't afford to pay that yearly at one drop. I am single, one income, so I would be out. No, V, you're already in, so it's not going to affect you. You're already in, and you already have your coupon code. And if you didn't do annual, then you would still get the coupon code, but you're going to have to wait a grace period to get it. And so it's not, you would have still, if your sole means were to get the coupon code so you get the files as quick as you could, then there's a little bit of, okay, well, what's your rush? You're going to get them, but you might have to wait 90 days to get them if you can't do the annual thing. But after 90 days, you'd have your coupon code and you could go get as many of the files as you wanted. But that way I'd at least get, 90 days worth of support before someone ripped me off. But you are not affected because you're already in. Bob's World said, I started out as a bronze, but saw the value and immediately switched to gold and found the annual to be easiest. It really is. All right. Hey, there's a stranger in the house. Life is orange on the Lasermatic side. I don't know if you're still with us, Dimitri, or if you got to see that. But this was the inlay that I did with the MK2. That's Paduke, Osage Orange, Catalox, and Maple. And I used the print and cut in the live feature to go back in and do the engravings on the hardwoods after I'd already done the inlays. So between the precision of the MK2 and using the print and cut feature, I was beside myself with joy with the outcome of this. I could not have done that with any of the other previous lasers that I had, I don't think. Not without jumping through a whole lot of hoops. Having this precision is yay. Yeah, and if it was just one low life, I wouldn't be doing this. But I honestly think that it's even been the idea of doing this is being shared with folks in another group or whatever, and they're taking advantage of it because it's just in the last 30 days has it really blown up, and they are all doing it. They'll sign up, spend $20, and then within the first week, they've gotten most of all of them. But then, before it's time for that second payment to hit, they've got them all. Yeah, and I've used to do some watermarking on Etsy, and that helps keep people from copying and pasting and tracing and doing stuff like that. But once you've actually got the file in LightBurn and you're making it, even if you've obtained the file legitimately, there's that concern or the possibility that somebody's just going to take that file, repackage it with their own name on it, and sell it and at cheaper than what I'm selling it for or whatever. Yeah. I hope nobody else is having any problem. V says she's been having some issues with some glitching going on. And Burn Cave says piracy's been around since day one. Well, piracy's been around probably since day two. The oldest, the other thing has been out there since day one. Let's see here. Yeah, Tim says, I prefer to create my own files with inspiration from others. I've learned a lot by watching you, the other guy, and a few others. Well, and that's really what I try to do. I try to inspire people to go in and don't be intimidated by LightBurn. Go in and do their own thing. And that's why I do go to the trouble. A lot of times I'll show you step by step on exactly how I do a design, and then turn around and put that design on hobowithwood.com. But I showed you how to do it. And thank you, Tim. Appreciate you. I think as soon as I get the side fan, I will do some slots in the front and back of my MK1. There you go. So you can do the pass-through. Yep. Thank you, Dimitri. Appreciate you. Yes, Carl, it did. And that's why I have suspicions. But Carl's asked, did this start after you became a lone wolf? And yeah, it's really taken a hold in the last little while. Well, Jason, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. I'm not going to restart this one, but I'm going to tell you it's worth going back and rewatching because I showed how I did some inlays. But beyond that, I've already showed you guys how to use the print and cut feature to do those with the pass-through and the 4-foot signs. But tonight, I use print and cut in a way that I've never used it. It's the way it was intended to be used. I did my inlays, so I had 3 different types of wood inlaid in maple, but they were plain wood, and they needed some accents on the wood. So after it was completely, oh, didn't mean to do that. After it was completely assembled, everything was done. It was ready for the final finish. Before putting the finish on it, I placed that back in the laser and used the print and cut feature to go back in and engrave the crosshatches in the cone and the swirl marks in the ice cream. That was done after everything was assembled. And the print and cut feature, I was nervous, but it worked perfectly. It worked flawlessly. So this is one that is worth going back and rewatching, because even if you're not doing inlays, I said this earlier, if you've done a job on your laser and you forgot to select a layer, or something was omitted and you've picked that job up off the laser, you can use the print and cut feature like I showed in this video to take that piece of artwork, lay it back on the honeycomb. Don't worry about getting it back in the same place on the honeycomb. You can put it on there upside down on the honeycomb using the print and cut feature, and the print and cut feature will orient the artwork so that it will create the output that you're wanting to add to it and put it exactly where it needs to be. Because those swirl marks in that ice cream were not there, and I added those after the fact, and it went right around the outline of that perfectly. And the same thing on the ice cream cone. So print and cut is very, very nice. Let's see here. Okay. So Dimitri says the MK2 extra wide will be available for pre-order first week of May and delivery for end of May. And as soon as I see that pre-order available, I'm getting my order in. I'm looking forward to that. Sparky said he got the drop down. I've not had a need for that, and I'm guessing, Sparky, maybe you do a lot of tumblers, and maybe you're doing the big tumblers and stuff, and that's why you needed that extra drop down space. I don't do tumblers, so I've not needed that. And Dimitri, that's hard maple. But look at this. Let me grab it. Fortunately for me, Dimitri, I've got this really awesome place about an hour from me called West Penn Hardwoods. And you can go in and just hand pick all these different exotics out. And they also have these project packs. Well, when I looked at their project pack, they had one pack that was 10 square feet of hard maple, but it was 3/4 inch thick. I ain't gonna do nothing with a 3/4 inch thick of hard maple with this 30-watt laser. But I've got a friend who has a big bandsaw, and I knew I could process it. So we processed that down to 5 mil. We got 3 pieces out of 20 millimeter, and there was two boards in there that, unlike this piece, you see there's not a lot of detail and grain going on there. It's really kind of bland. It looks nice, but that maple doesn't have a lot of action going on. But there were 2 boards in there that I saved, cut in a specific way, and then cut them in half. And I'm going to book match them. And this is what that's going to look like. And that is going to be some really pretty stuff. And I've got another pair that's going to do the same thing. And it's pieces like this that I'm really looking forward to, that extra wide laser, so I can put this on there, on the work bed, and be done with it and not have to wear out pass-throughs or anything. But that is going to be some gorgeous wood once I get it all put together. Just want to say a big thanks to you for the help provided to me, even though I have no laser. Just enjoy using Inkscape and the trial version of LightBurn. Keep having faith in the ones here. Yeah, well, thank you, Bill, and I'm happy to help. Happy to help when I can, whether they're a patron or not. I'm not, and I don't know that I ever will be a technical go-to like Dimitri. Dimitri's your guy when you get warning codes or issues or you get calibration issues. Stuff. He's your go-to for that. You can get him at the Facebook group, the Rolly Automation Facebook group. But when it comes to just general LightBurn issues and or design problems, I feel like I'm up there with the creme of the creme. I'm getting really good at that. Okay, so we're done with my spiel about patron. I don't want to discourage people from signing up, but I've got to do something to nip this in the bud about these people ripping me off. So I please consider becoming a patron, and just know that you will have a small grace period before you get your coupon code. Are you going to use your laser as the joiner for those book match pieces? No, actually, Burn Carve asking if I was going to use the laser as the joiner. I actually broke down today and ordered from Amazon a joiner, a bench joiner coming from Amazon. I forget the name of it now. It's not the Craftsman and it's not the Win, but it's a cheap one. But it was more powerful than the Craftsman. It's advertised at a higher RPM than the Craftsman, but it was only a couple $100. And it's a small one, but I'm not going to be working with big pieces of wood. I'm only going to be working with stuff I'm going to be placing in here. So I think I'll be okay with that. And then between the joiner, maybe a little bit of hand sanding here and there, and then I got some good clamps to clamp it all up. It should be spot on. Now, once I've got everything, because the way that the way these line up, to get the grains to line up about like there, I think. No, it's about there. You can see they don't line up top and bottom. One's longer than the other in order to get the book match looking really right. So I'll then either use the table saw to square everything off once it's all book matched. Dimitri says I need a dust collection. I do. I've actually got a small dust collection, but that I had set up with the CNC that I don't use at all anymore. But tomorrow is scrubbing day. Tomorrow is going to be a day of breaking down, cleaning, and polishing everything and getting this spit shined again because I've put it through the paces this week. Good night, Edward. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. So Saturday, I'm going to be live at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll have this finished, sanded, finished, and complete. And it's already good and dry. This is actually sandable now. But then I'll, like I said, for those that weren't here earlier, I actually engraved on the back the different species of woods that were used, and then got my logo on there, and put a hanger on here, so this will be displayed on the wall. What is for Saturday? Saturday's the live stream, and then like I said, I'll have this the show finished, and see if anybody's watched the replay that might have any questions about it. I may even have a new project out. Can someone tell me how to correctly reply to a post here using their channel name? So Sparky056 ain't your channel name? I don't know. This is a good question that I've asked myself over and over again. So Rick said he scrubbed his laser for over an hour today. But here's the question. Carl says, why would they want to download the files more than once? Once should be enough to make it, right? Well, yeah. But folks don't save, or they don't know where they saved it. It gets downloaded into their download folder, and they don't save it or put it in a place where they can find it. And so I get contacted at least once a month with people saying, "Hey, I've either they can't get logged back in, or they've logged in but they don't have access to the file." Because when I first started my website, I was actually putting limitations on how many times you could download the file. I'd say, okay, you can download it 3 times, but after that, then that's it. But folks would call me back or email me and say, "Hey, I can't download it. I can't download it." And I'm like, "I see you've downloaded it 3 times already." Yeah, but I don't have, they're working on one of those little, what do you call those, the tablets, and they're not working from a computer, or they said, "Well, I downloaded it and I was on my phone." So lots of reasons why people have to go back and download it again. I don't want to ruin this for you, but you did misspell something on the back. Oh, what did I misspell on the back? Did I misspell Paducah? Library. No, that's not spelled correctly. No, that's not it says words instead of wood. That's because that's right. Because it's the words, or the text is done with Colombian catalogs. The words are Colombian catalogs. Man. And I was trying to make sure I had everything spelled right. And you had me thinking maybe I spelled Paducah wrong or something. But no, the words are done in the catalogs. The ice cream is the West African Paducah. The cone is the Argentine Osage orange, and it's all layered in hard maple. So words, ice cream, cone, and hard maple. Don't scare me like that. Yep. And Valerie says, and computer crashes, all kinds of reasons why they got to go back and download it again and again. Rick says he's lost them before and had to re-download. Valerie says after 3 downloads, you may have to contact it. Yeah. And that's what I was kind of doing, but I just kind of got tired of dealing with that. And so I just started removing those. And no, this is not paddock. And I actually seen that in yours, you have in your library, you have African. I think it's supposed to be Paducah, but switch. And there it says African, and it's PADOUK in your library. But when I go to West Penn, where you at? There you are. West Penn species. I want to go to. I don't want to go out. We'll go to here. Species. Also, here we go. There. And I'm in the way, but you can see there at the bottom. PADUAK. PADUAK. and that's out of the tropical Africa. Where does it say there? It says, yeah, tropical West Africa. PADUAK. Blah, 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 blah. Okie doke. Looking for any last questions? Yeah, and it is African, but like I said, on the website there from the importer, they spell it with a U instead of they spell it PADUAK instead of OUK. Yeah, I was like, oh man, yeah, some gears turning, smoke coming out. You know, that's the one thing that was brought up at LBX was about having spell check in LightBurn. And the reason they don't have spell check in LightBurn is because all of the different languages that LightBurn is used in. When you go into LightBurn and let's see here, go back to LightBurn and swap over again, you have, and I wished I could get rid of that stupid picture in picture. I don't know how to get rid of that. But when you go up to the language and the picture in picture is in the way, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. They have it in 24 different languages available in the drop down menu in LightBurn. So for them to have spell check available in LightBurn and have it in all those languages and in all those different variants, and because they even have 2 or 3 different Chinese languages in there, they said the spell check was just more work than they were going to put into it. And double check before you change anything, Dimitri, because make sure you are looking at the same species and there's not 2 different species spelled very similar. And yeah, Chris color versus color. Yeah. Could be a regional spelling. All right, guys. I'm going to go, because this is actually already dry. I'm going to go sand this and see how much of that run I can get out of there. Not run, but where that ran, but it bled. The oils from there, and it actually kind of bled a little bit on the comb. So I'm going to see what a little bit of sanding will do. Get this right. Yeah, Carl, and that's how I've got it spelled. PADUAK. But again, like it may be different species, and it also could be regional spelling. But Google spells it the way I've spelled it here. Thanks for hanging around, guys. Your support is greatly appreciated. Keep in mind, if you're going to go and pull the trigger and grab your rolly today or tomorrow, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. And I want to do that. Using my link would be greatly appreciated. hobowithwood.com/rolly. Just lets Leo know that, hey, I'm doing my part to let everybody know how wonderful this machine is. And you just seen how accurate the machine is. Combination of machine and software, but man, that was spot on. And you seen how easy it was. I made more of a deal out of it with my anxiousness of being wary of pulling the trigger. If I had just done it and pulled the trigger, no big deal. And I'll do that next time. I will trust it. I will trust the software and know that the laser is going to do what it needs to. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, 9 o'clock Saturday night, 9 o'clock p.m. we'll do some more Q&As and see this finished piece. Turn off that banner. Turn on this banner. Like, share, and subscribe. I don't know how many likes we've had or shares we've had, and we've already lost 30 people since I said we're signing off. But if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the anniversary, June 15th. June 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern time is when the anniversary party is going to be, and we're going to be giving away a Rolly Lasermatic. But I want to be at 10,000 subscribers before then, just so I can say, yeah, Leo, we had 10,000 subscribers that are seeing this, and it'll just, I'll feel he's stepping up. Leo's stepping up by providing a laser to give away. So the least you can do is hit that subscribe button. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next live stream, which will be Saturday at 9 and Brand. And just for the heck of it,